Look at your hands. No, really, take a second and actually look at them. They look clean, don't they? You probably washed them this morning, but in 1846, that simple assumption was a death sentence. Welcome to Vienna General Hospital, the most prestigious medical center on the planet at the time. It was a place of healing, a place of elite science, but it held a dark biological secret that no one, not even the world's greatest doctors, could see. There were 2 maternity wards in this hospital. Ward 1 was run by the alpha medical doctors. Ward 2 was run by simple, uneducated midwives. But here's the terrifying part. If you were a mother in Ward 1, you were 3 times more likely to die in agony than if you were in Ward 2. It was so bad that mothers were literally begging, screaming not to be sent to the doctors. They preferred giving birth in the literal gutter of the street rather than a hospital bed in Ward 1. Enter Ignaz Semmelweis. He was young, he was stubborn, and he was obsessed with the data. He looked at the air, the food, the laundry. Everything was identical between the 2 wards, except for one gruesome detail. Every single morning, the doctors in Ward 1 performed autopsies on rotting, diseased corpses, and then they walked straight into the maternity ward to examine mothers. No gloves, no soap, just hands covered in what Semmelweis called cadaverous particles. The aha moment came when a close friend of Semmelweis was accidentally pricked by a scalpel during a dissection and died with the exact same symptoms as the mothers. The light bulb went off. The doctors are the ones carrying the poison. He ordered a solution that was almost insulting in its simplicity. Wash your hands with chlorinated lime. The results weren't just good, they were miraculous. Within weeks, the death rate plummeted from nearly 20% to almost 0. He had beaten the shadow of death with a 30-cent bottle of cleaner. You'd think the world would cheer, right? Wrong. The medical elite didn't feel inspired. They felt attacked. To admit Semmelweis was right was to admit that they, the healers, had spent years killing their own patients. Their egos couldn't handle the blood on their hands. They called him a madman. They mocked his pseudoscience. The head of the hospital even removed the hand-washing basins just to spite him, letting the death rate climb right back up to protect the reputation of the system. Semmelweis spiraled. He wrote letters calling his peers murderers in the streets. He was desperate to save people, but the more he shouted, the more they isolated him. In 1865, his peers tricked him. They told him he was visiting a new medical facility, but instead, they dragged him into a mental asylum. When he realized the trap, he fought back, and the guards beat him until he was broken. In a cruel twist of irony, a cut on his hand from that beating became infected with the very same cadaverous particles he had warned the world about. He died in a dark cell 2 weeks later from the very thing he tried to stop. Decades later, Louis Pasteur proved germ theory, and the world finally realized Semmelweis was a genius, but he wasn't there to hear the applause. This isn't just a story about soap, it's a blueprint for how the human ego works. We call it the Semmelweis reflex, the human tendency to reject new evidence because it proves we were wrong. The system will always protect itself before it protects you. So the next time you wash your hands, remember the man who was beaten to death to give you that choice. Don't let your ego blind you to the invisible. If you found yourself nodding along, you belong here. Subscribe to uncover the hidden blueprints of our reality, because once you see the pattern, you can never unsee it. Stay curious.